In the early 1920s, Reverend Dr. William Seaman had a vision for Gary, a vision for his community, for civic organization, for spiritual and physical rest and growth. This vision became City Church. From their brochure, American life, normally rapidly moving, reaches its peak in the city of Gary. This church, organized the year the city was started, was an influence for good in Gary before forces of industry had completed the first units of giant steel mills for which the city was founded. It is recognized that the sturdy marker of iron and steel, the active man in business life, the busy woman, the growing youth are best convinced of living Christ by seeing his influence every hour of the week, as well as an hour on Sunday. A church is greatly needed in a business district. This is the industrial business and professional man's world. The church ought to be in the world. The crowds press their intent on gain and pleasure. They need what the church can give. Out from the city's heart go those forces that mold its life and the church. The church should be more there. From the vantage point send its healing influence to the city's every part. The corner of 6th Avenue and Washington Street is an ideal location for such a church, the City Church, and their invitation. We extend to you an invitation to join with other like-minded individuals, businessmen, laborers, housewives, youth, and civic leaders into full membership and participation in the ministry of City Church. The rededication of your prayers, attendance, gifts, and service are vital to the continuation of that theme on which this church was built, that Christ may dwell, a living presence, in the city. In 1925, the cornerstone was laid, the vision was cast, and the community was started for City Church. At the service for their cornerstone laying, these words were spoken. Lead on, O King Eternal, the day of March has come. Henceforth in fields of conquest, thy tents shall be our home. Through days of preparation, thy grace has made us strong. And now, O King Eternal, we lift our battle song. Lead on, O King Eternal, we follow not with fears, for gladness breaks this morning, where'er thy face appears. Thy cross is lifted o'er us. We journey in its light. The crown awaits the conquest. Lead on, O God of might. Welcome to City Methodist Church. Today, City Methodist, in the heart of downtown Gary, Indiana, sits in ruins, vacant, from years of neglect, abandonment, and a fire. But this one small story gives us a glimpse into the Calumet region, and in particular, the people of Gary in a certain time and in a certain place. On October 3rd, 1926, Reverend Seaman and the congregation of City Methodist worshiped for the first time in this spot. The organ played a majestic prelude. The trumpeters resounded from the 9-story tower. There was a responsive reading, music by the City Church Quartet, and presentation of the church keys. The sanctuary of City Church, according to its historical records by a member, state, City Church architecture is purely Gothic. The Goths were a Teutonic people, originating probably in Sweden. They conquered South Russia, Greece, Asia Minor, and eventually most of Italy. When they arrived in Rome, they found a practical architecture with very little attention and beauty. They introduced more freedom of plan and finally evolved the Gothic cathedral with its spacious nave, painted arch, ribbed vaults, large windows divided by intricate tracery, all topped by a lofty spire. Most of the wonderful cathedrals of France and England are Gothic, with mammoth naves and delicately made windows. The noted ones are Westminster Abbey, Salzburger Cathedral, Lincoln Cathedral of England, and Notre Dame in France. We can easily enjoy the form and beauty of the building as a whole. The carvings and symbols in City Methodist come down to us from the very beginning of Christianity, from small gems of the 4th and 5th century, from mosaics, medieval stained glass, and tombstones from catacombs. Architects, sculptors, and decorators are often at a loss to find something they can use to typify something they want to suggest or memorialize. Symbols are our eye pictures. The symbolism and architecture of this building did not come at a low expense. $650,000 was put into this sanctuary. 50% of the costs paid for by the U.S. Steel Corporation, which also donated the plot of land. Judge Gary, hence the name, himself founded this church, this property. In the sanctuary, the 4-manual Skinner organ is one of the outstanding organs in the world. The fine handcrafted work above the altar was done by a brother of Anton Lang, who played the part of Christus in the Passion Play in Europe. Judge Gary personally paid for the fine woodwork. It was Dr. Seaman's wish that his body be cremated after his death and his ashes be placed in the sanctuary. His wishes were fulfilled. At one time, there was an engraved copper plate marking the spot where he died, where he was buried, right here on this chancel.